The air in my office that Monday morning was too still, almost heavy, like the silence before a storm. And as I stared out of the 42nd floor window at the city that had been both my battlefield and my kingdom, I thought about the kind of betrayal that eats away at your bones long after the public drama fades. My name is Helena Montez, senior executive at one of the largest banks in New York City, 35 years old, and carrying a wealth far greater than anyone in this building suspects. My ambition has always been my secret weapon, not just to climb, but to own, not just to survive, but to rule. And yet this story does not begin with a boardroom handshake or a market deal. It begins with trust, intimacy, and the quiet destruction of it. We were married for 5 years, David and I, and for a while I believed we were equals, two people building something together. I gave him love. I gave him loyalty. I even molded parts of myself to fit the contours of his world, a mistake I would later dismantle piece by piece, until the day the rumors arrived, whispers drifting to my ears on Friday evenings like poison carried by the wind. They said he was seen with her, my best friend, Claire, the one who toasted our wedding with tears in her eyes and promises in her voice. At first I refused to believe it, because disbelief is cheaper than rage. But disbelief cannot shield you when the truth knocks on your door in photographs sent anonymously, her hand in his, their smiles casual, their closeness too familiar. I remember my stomach dropping like a market graph in freefall, the sour taste of betrayal curling up in my mouth. I wanted to confront them both on the spot, but patience became my armor, because revenge served fresh is only satisfying for a moment. Revenge served cold feeds the soul. I began to plan, and every plan required silence. While they thought I was unaware, I studied David's career. He was circling the outer ring of my industry, desperate for a foothold where I actually ruled. He spoke of needing a new position, needing credibility in banking, and Claire, ever the opportunist, suggested I help him, as if the knife between my ribs should be rewarded with financial charity. That was when I smiled, because the trap was already forming in my mind. I lured them with kindness, offered introductions, and arranged for him to interview at a firm I had quietly acquired through a front company. The irony was exquisite. They were so eager for me to be the bridge to their shared ambitions. I watched him prepare for the role, unaware that the board would ultimately report to me, that his contract would keep him under my thumb, and his career forever tied to my mercy. The day he signed his offer, he thanked me like a man thanking a priest for saving his soul. And I returned his smile while counting down the hours until the chains would close. He started 6 weeks later, and I waited for the rhythm of corporate dependence to set in. Then came the confrontation, one crisp autumn evening in a cafe near the office, where the bitter scent of roasted coffee hung between us. I told him I knew every detail, every secret meeting with Claire. Every night he came home smelling faintly of her perfume. His face drained of color. His mouth moved like he was searching for words, but there was nothing to find. It was in that moment I told him the truth, that the job he had been clinging to for survival was mine, and that from that moment on, every project, every paycheck, every shred of his career would be stamped with my authority. I left before he could reply, the door swinging behind me like the closing of a chapter. Watching him walk into meetings knowing the room belonged to me was the kind of justice they do not write about in legal books. Private, enduring, colder than ice. And Claire? She became a ghost in my world, cut off from every circle that mattered, her name whispered only in warnings. My revenge was not loud, but it was thorough. It was not about hatred alone. It was about balance, restoring the weight that betrayal had stolen from me. If you love Helena's journey, Like and subscribe to join her next chapter. What the world never understood was that power is not in the money, not in the titles. It is in the quiet control, the ability to smile at the one who wronged you and know that every move they make is dictated by your hand. I built my life from the ground up with the currency of resilience, and the moment they tried to take it from me, I bought their freedom and kept the receipt. Some call it cruelty. I call it justice disguised as opportunity. And perhaps the cruelest twist of all is that David now sends me quarterly reports, each one signed respectfully, as if the man who cheated on me with my best friend has forgotten how to stand without leaning on the structure I own. The city looks very different from the top floor. Quieter, more obedient, and when I close my eyes at night, I sleep with the comfort of knowing betrayal could not break me. It only made me sharper. Like and subscribe if you want to see exactly how I turn the next blade into my crown.